everyone, I'm Donna Louise and welcome to my YouTube channel for the love of puzzles. Recently I posted a speed puzzling video that I did with Wendy, and during the time lapse of where we assemble the jigsaw puzzle, I used my new GoPro camera and I'm really pleased with the footage. I used the time-lapse setting and I really like how it speeds up and slows down. I was so excited. Also, the battery lasts 4 to 5 hours, and that's exactly what I was hoping for when it comes to recording speed puzzling, to do it all in one sitting without having to chop it up. Well, what you didn't know or see is that for 2 to 3 days before that video, I was playing around with the GoPro, finding out everything I could about the settings, the options, and I actually did a speed run of this jigsaw puzzle using the GoPro with various different settings. So the footage you're about to see is not maybe the best, it's not polished. On top of that, I tried using a different timer, I tried using a different table, I tried using different lighting. I was really playing around with a lot of options. But in the end, the result was really good footage that I got with Wendy, and I thought, I don't want to waste the footage that I have doing this jigsaw puzzle, so I hope you will enjoy it anyways, even if it's not the best. But this puzzle is 1,000 pieces from Arrow Puzzles. It's from their Carnival series, and it's titled Venice Awaits. I believe the artist's name is Graeme Stevenson. The puzzle comes with a poster, which I love because the box is quite small and the image on the box is quite small, but I felt this was a good enough size. I specifically want to try to do other brands besides Ravensburger in preparation for the competition I've entered in February. We're given 7 hours to do a 1,000 piece puzzle, so I thought this would be a good challenge. Now, obviously I've already done it, so I know how well I've done. But initially, I was hoping to get around the 3-hour, 30-minute mark. That was my plan. And I also planned to do my build as I sort technique. And in my mind, I had picked out like the green mask, the white pieces, because they kind of stood out, and maybe the headdress and face. See how much of that I could build as I sorted through all the pieces, and the rest of the pieces, try to sort them and go from there. So during the footage, I'm going to talk and discuss as to what's happening in the footage so you know and understand what you're seeing. But then in the outro, I'll come back and I'll specifically talk about the speed puzzling aspect of the video. So I tried my best. In the end, it was really good because now I'm happy and comfortable with the settings, and I do plan on bringing the camera to the competition in February and filming my speed puzzling run, so I'm excited for that. And so, without further ado and for the love of puzzles, let's watch this footage of me speed running this 1,000-piece Venice Awaits. I'm recording video, and this is sped up video, but I reduced the quality of the video to 1080p. Hoping that it would still be great quality, and it's good footage. I turned on a higher bit rate to maybe think that would help, but actually at 1080p I don't think it matters. And I also had on their, I think it's called hyper smooth stabilization, but that's more when you're holding the camera and running and jogging with it. So what I hate here is that I'm bumping the table, and because it's video and sped up, you really see the jerking motion of the table, and I don't like that. It bothers me. Now, even though it's recording continuously, it still closes off a file and starts a new one right there. Did you see that? So once the file gets to like just over 11 gigs, it starts a new file. But look at the lighting difference between the two and the color difference. And nothing changed during my setup. And even in post-processing, I couldn't make them match. So I don't really like that. On top of that, I was using the GoPro light and I thought it was fully charged. The GoPro light actually turned off. I didn't have it fully charged, but I do think it's supposed to last for 6 hours. What's interesting is this footage almost looks better, and then look, there another file change. So we've seen 3 files of footage collected, and it, besides the light turning off, it's not consistent between files, and I don't like that. So grabbing full video and speeding it up right away, looking at this footage, although it's not terrible, wasn't the best. I'm not the happiest with it, and that's why I did revert eventually to time-lapse. Is gonna be the way to go, in my opinion. Leave your thoughts below. Now, my phone, if you look at the phone, it dims. It dims, and I could only at most force it to not dim after 30 minutes. So this is nearing the first sitting where I was doing full video, higher bit rate with the stabilization, and then I thought I should check the footage to see if it looks any good. So I'm about to start recording, and this is the second lot of footage. It's still at 1080p, but I actually lowered the bit rate to be standard, and I turned off the stabilization. And to tell you the truth, I don't see really any difference between the previous video footage and this video footage. It looks all the same to me. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure if the bit rate matters at 1080p anyway, and the stabilization only really matters, I think, if you're holding the camera, but I'm bumping the table, and that's what's causing the jerkiness and the motion. Now, I wanted to use my cell phone as a timer, but it doesn't really show up. And like I said, at the beginning, it was dimming after 5 minutes. Now I've made it so it dims after 30 minutes, but it's still too dark to show on camera. I need to get a better timer solution. The reason why I'm using this table, it's like a standard size trestle table, but it's wobbly. And so every time I touch the table, it bumps around, and I don't like it. I'm doing better as I say that the table starts to move. Some shots I'm doing better than others, but the reason why I'm using a smaller table, this table, is a few of you commented that maybe the table I normally use is too big, and it's not the size table that they'll have at the competition, and I'm doing myself a disservice by using such a large table. So from now on, when practicing, I'm going to use this smaller trestle table. But this is so much data. Recording just video, continuous video, so much data. You'll see that I left a lot of the border to the end. I was able to do the top and the bottom, but the sides were tricky because it was like a gold strip on each end. I'm able to do the side I'm working on because a lot of the inner puzzle was filled in, but the other side I quickly let it be. Now I'm about to realize it's 1:30 in the morning, so I stop taping here. I come back the next day, and this is time-lapse footage. I didn't play around with lighting. I left it to be the same as the lighting during the video because I didn't want that to be like a big difference just because I couldn't control the lighting. I am more pleased and satisfied with this footage. I think it looks a lot better. What do you think? One thing to note about the puzzle, it's quite glossy and shiny. You can see in the corner there where it's quite glossy and shiny. I would have preferred a puzzle with not so much gloss and shine to it. So a lot of stuff didn't go to plan. But in the end, like I said, I'm glad that I did it. It's the best way to test any new setup. Things don't go to plan, but you learn, and I'm really happy with the way things turned out in Wendy's video. The one thing, I need to get a proper timer. So even in Wendy's video, I forgot to plug in my tablet and the timer went out, and then I can always compute the time looking at the footage afterwards, but it's not the same, it's not fun. So mental note, this week I'm going to buy myself some sort of better timer so I can have that on camera, easily visible, and know exactly what my time is during the speed puzzling. I did think the time-lapse footage was the best. That's what I'm going to use from now on. And one big thing is also the file size and transferring the data much better in time-lapse mode than it is in video mode. But leave your comments below. You know, did you prefer the sped up video or the little bit at the end that was time-lapse? I mean, hopefully the video wasn't too much of a mess and you still enjoyed it. As for the speed puzzling itself, I did pretty good keeping on to my plan, but I just got out of the groove because I had stopped so many times. I couldn't do it all in one setting because I wanted to check the data, change settings. And then when it got so late at night and had to come back the next day, although my time, I'm happy with it. What was it? 4 hours, 14 minutes, I believe. I think now, if I were to not necessarily redo it, but having the setup already, and if this was a brand new puzzle that I had not seen, I may have been able to do it under 4 hours. I don't think I could do it in 3:30, but maybe closer to the 3:50 mark. Maybe, you know, get just under 4 hours, I think. Who knows? But yeah, I was really getting tired. It was a lot. It was a very enjoyable puzzle. I enjoyed the variety of piece cuts. I've always enjoyed the arrow puzzles that I've done on the channel. So this was nice. It was a good change to do over the Ravensburger brands and a very different image. Because once again, I have no idea what they're going to give us to do at the competition. So I'm pleased I did it. Overall, I am pleased with my time. I do think I could have maybe shaved off a few minutes, maybe at most 20, doing it without all the interruptions that was going around as I was trying to film. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts. I still think it's good to have this video up just so you can see how I did. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a mess. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. For the love of puzzles, I hope you enjoy my videos. Please consider subscribing, and until next time, ciao!